There are some limitations to how impactful that can be. But as far as the Facebook ads, there is a relationship between the two that I see very often. But I think that definitely looking at, search to see where optimizations can happen. What's up? So today is Tuesday. It's a little past 5 p.m. right now. I was feeling pretty under the weather yesterday, so I didn't record any, but feeling good today. It was a really busy day. Got up, normal routine, breakfast, went to the gym earlier than normal because we had our friend over to co-work. So she's a designer. She was in just a second of my last video, but she's a designer, and so she comes over to work on her stuff. We talk about some projects that we have going on. She does a bit of work for us on the side, so it's always great to have her here and collaborate. We talked a lot about YouTube and how she can help with my YouTube journey and what I want to achieve and things like that. So that was a really good time. I also had an intro call for a new potential client. That is the third intro call of the past 2 weeks, which is really great because I don't do any outbound sales for my business. That might sound a little crazy because I run an agency. There have been a couple of times that I've kind of pitched myself in a more organic way. I don't really consider it to be outbound sales. It's more just like natural alignment that occurs, and I take advantage of the situation. But I don't do outbound because, well, one, I want the business to grow naturally. I don't need 50 leads next week because, it's me and my partner and our intern, and when necessary, some people from our network. But I want it to grow. I want it to grow naturally. And when leads come to us through word of mouth or other organic methods, it just means that there's a higher chance that they'll sign on to work with me because they're already interested, and I know that. So it takes some work off of my plate, just like not having to, go after cold leads and warm them up to us. But it also ensures some alignment between myself and them and what we want to achieve in the business. If they learned about me, learned about Lowtide, and they felt like it could be a good match, then we're already halfway there. I typically do intro calls, tell them a bit about me, about the business, what we're doing, how we can help them. They tell me about what they're looking for, make sure there's alignment, and then from there, talk about the options. So I've had a few of those the past couple of weeks, and all of them have gone very well. So looking really good there to keep growing the business. Outside of that, worked on some design for our brand Warren & Company that's launching soon. We also processed a payment for a sample for a different business, but a lot of things moving across the board. It's been very busy and is only going to get busier, which I love. The rest of the week is a bit more of the same. Like I've mentioned, whenever you're in a phase where, 2 out of our 3 businesses are prepping to launch, and really in like the development phase, there's not like a set schedule every day or every week of what needs to be done. So it's really like reacting to movement and keeping things going. So I'll just be doing that and handling Lowtide client needs, and I'll take you through the rest of the week. So one thing that we've been working on a lot over the past week or so is updating our office space. I'll show you what it looks like, but tomorrow we're going to get in a big table and kind of start to finish things up. So this weekend, we finally took the time to hang my jersey. It has some autographs from the U.S. women's national team players on it. we've got that, and I shifted my desk out. If you've watched any of my previous videos, my desk has been a lot closer to this wall over here. So I shifted it out and we lined up our desks here. But what we're gonna do is, instead of the desk, we're gonna have one long table coming out from this wall, really to allow it to be a more like collaborative space, because I work a lot with my partner, Taya, on our businesses, but then I also have other collaborators that come over and work with me. So just want to make it a bit more, I don't know, communal, and allow for collaboration and things like that. And then another thing we did this weekend was mount our TV, which had previously been like hanging out on a couple of stools over here, but now it's mounted. We're gonna put my desk under here as kind of a storage area for like our printer and things like that. But we also need a space to package orders. Since Warren is going to be launching soon, we need to kind of have that sorted out. And I think that that will be a nice size, because we can lift up the legs and make it a little bit taller than what it is now. So it's a work in progress, but I think that your workspace is just so important to like your ability to be productive. With how it's been, I think that we kind of struggle to be able to like talk to each other. We have like our little like dining table out in the living room area that we sit and work at, but it's just not very productive feeling. Like if we have like our computers there and we're trying to talk, it's just kind of a lot. So the table is going to be a nice addition. And then from there, we need to add storage. Like I need storage back behind my desk here, because I have a ton of like tech equipment, cameras, microphones, hard drives, headphones, like all of that stuff needs a place to go. So that's next on the priority list. And then we need to start building out some other storage. Like there's a whole wall over there that really doesn't have much on it. So storage after we get this table in, but we kind of want to see what the space is going to look like first so that we can build it out in the best way. And you did perfectly, saying the individual viewer saw this campaign a less amount of times and still wanted to click on the link. So that's perfect. Quick note, as I just sent some assignment feedback to our intern for Lowtide, something I've talked about before and I'll talk about forever is speed. So I assigned this particular task to our intern, I think yesterday. It is a data analysis task. We're working on her ability to analyze data. She's very new to data, so we're starting small and building up, doing weekly assignments, maybe even more often than that. But she already got it done today, got it back to me, and then she was sending some questions in Notion, and I was responding immediately because, you know, she's on the task, she has questions. And if I wait to respond, that means that she has to wait to finish it, right? And it just delays everything. She sent over her analysis. I just recorded a loom with my feedback, immediately sent it back over so that she has that as soon as possible when it's still top of mind. I think that we can get caught in delaying and saying like, you know, it's like 7:30 right now. I can do that tomorrow. I'll just wait. But I always try to think of like, how can I be most helpful to the other person? You know, she's a college student, so like tomorrow she's gonna be in classes. Tonight she probably has the time to watch the loom and get her feedback. I like to get feedback as quickly as possible, so I try to provide it to other people. But just a note on speed and how to be considerate in your work. What's up? So today is Wednesday. It is almost 11:30 right now. I just got started on my to-dos for the day. I have a client call at 1 p.m. and I need to have their reporting updated by then so we can review how the campaign is going. It's only been up for, I think, like 2.5 days at this point, but it's a pretty high spend, so there's a lot of data to look at and kind of understand, you know, how the ads are doing thus far, but need to do that. I have a scope of work I need to get signed today. I need to send some options for a partnership with a potential new client that I had a call with yesterday. They're interested in working together, so that means I need to provide kind of a layout of, what that could look like. A lot of times I find that people prefer multiple options as opposed to just like, here's a, one single plan. They like to feel like they have a choice in the matter, especially when it comes to, their investment and how much time I'm providing in return and things like that. So I like to keep it pretty flexible. So I'll build out a few options for them and see what they want to choose. Especially in their case, they're kind of needing to get a baseline and optimize what they have going on and then grow from there. So it might be a plan that is shorter where we start with, 2 to 3 months, have a plan for that and a cost for that. And then from there we reassess and potentially have, more involvement after that period. So I need to get that done. I need to start editing this video in particular. I have a new camera, so I need to see what that looks like and how it works in my editing flow. And then perhaps the most exciting part of the day is our new table for our office is coming in. So I'll show you that in a bit once we get it put together and get the space of it set up. All right, I wanted to take a minute to talk about a topic that has been on my mind a lot lately, which is how to determine whether to prioritize short-term gain or short-term income or long-term gain. To explain that a bit further, short-term gain would be like if I provide a service and then I am invoicing for that service and just getting, it's a very clear transaction. A long-term play or long-term gain is more of a upfront investment on your part, whether it's time, resources, skills, all of the above, in the hope that long-term it'll be more beneficial for you than that short-term gain. So an example of like a long-term is, starting a business. Like it's going to take a while for you to establish everything, build out the concept, get things going, start making revenue. It takes even longer to start turning a profit. So it really takes a lot of upfront investment in order to build that business. So it's kind of like that, but taking that approach and using it with like business partnerships. So how I see this in my life right now is I am prioritizing my long-term goals with my career, with my businesses. So that means like I could absolutely, start doing a lot of outbound sales for my agency and try to get as many clients as possible to really get that short-term, revenue, that return coming in. But that is not suited for my long-term plan, which is having multiple businesses that are successful and established, but also having a well-established personal brand based like around my YouTube and things like that, and a very thriving network. That's a big goal. I'm taking things slowly, one step at a time, and I'm being very intentional with the partnerships that I take on. Partnerships just meaning like client relationships, but I typically treat them as more like partnerships. Because while I'm providing services, I typically am invested personally, like in what my clients are doing and how I want them to succeed and things like that. As an example, looking at like the 4 most recent opportunities and contracts within my business, 2 of them are short term in my mind. So that means that I'm providing services that then I'm going to get paid for, within the invoicing period. Nothing beyond that. It is just like very transactional, and it is meant to bring in income for my business. And then the other 2, there is a little bit of income, but compared to the amount of work that's going in, it is not enough to like fully compensate for that work because they are long-term plays. So I know that putting in the work now means that long term it's going to benefit me much better than if I were to, quote them properly on how much the services cost. So in regards to how to determine that, what should your play be whenever you're going into a potential partnership? You have to think about what they can offer you. So if it is a situation where like you really just want to make the income out of it and that's it and provide your services, especially if someone comes to you for something and you just want it to be transactional, it can be pretty clean cut. If it's a situation where maybe they came to you and you know that they like can offer more, whether it's tapping into their network, learning from them, and doing more of like a trade, anything like that where it can be mutually beneficial, that's when you want to consider the long-term play instead of just a transactional experience. So it's really all about prioritizing your long-term goals and understanding what is going to be impactful, whether it's mentorship and learning from someone who's like been in the field longer than you, whether it is just like getting embedded into a team in a business that you feel is going to grow a lot. If you can be one of the first people on a team and that takes off, that can really establish you in the future and lead to much larger opportunities. It's the concept of like being the barnacle on the whale, right? So it could be that type of thing. It could also be a trade where you're providing services and they're providing something back to you, like different services or teaching or things like that. So it's just something that's been really beneficial for me in my career, and I think is going to benefit me heavily as these current partnerships, kind of build and grow and some of that benefit comes into fruition. But I think that it's opportunity missed among a lot of people, especially people who are like, I want to grow, I want to expand my career, I want to learn new skills, improve all of these things and experience opportunities. I see a lot of people just looking for those transactional experiences. You have to think beyond what the monetary value can be and what the other value can be. Because again, you could earn, $500 by offering a service or support or whatever it is, or you could earn, 50,000 if you play it a different way. So it's just something to think about, something that I've been thinking about a lot. I'm sure I'll talk about it more because of the impact that it has in my life, but now I need to get back to work. This should find efficiency over time. The conversions did increase from Monday to Tuesday. CPA did drop from Monday to Tuesday. So we are starting to see it get better, but we do have a lot of really interesting insights coming in already, specifically like the insights directly from the users. Like it is resonating with people in the way that we wanted it to. So if this holds up and we keep seeing this, let's build out more of these and really push on that. The next area is the data collection and conversion setup. So we'll want to make sure that you have clean data coming in. So if you did want to do creative designs, that means that I would work with my designer to build out assets specifically for the ad campaigns. All right, so what you just saw was me recording a Loom video for a potential client. So it was an intro call that I had earlier this week where we talked about what we could do with their paid digital marketing. So running on Google search and Facebook primarily. But we talked about that and they wanted to see options. I said earlier in my video, a lot of people want options. They like to see, kind of like a menu of sorts and be able to pick and choose what they want. That can be really difficult to put together, especially if you don't have a good understanding of their budget or, what they're really looking for. So while it is difficult for me, I know that people prefer it. So I took the time to put together a few options, even included some ad hoc services that they could throw in if they wanted to based on our conversation. But the reason why I record a Loom is because it's really easy to send a document outlining what we could do and leave it up to them to interpret. So especially if you're working with clients who, might feel a little unaware of a lot of like digital marketing lingo and things like that, and they might not understand exactly, what it is they're reading, it's not going to be received as well as, it being presented to them. Now, I don't want to have to go and set up a call to talk about it. So instead, I record a Loom. I go through the whole document or the whole, file, whatever I'm sending, explain each element so that they know my thoughts on it, why I put it together that way, why it looks like that, anything that I can provide that is helpful context. So then they can go and watch the video and, get that information, and then they have the document as well. So it's something that I do pretty much every time that I'm sending options. Sometimes I don't need to. If it's someone who is a bit more savvy with digital, or it's just something that's simpler. So this one was a bit extensive, so I wanted to provide that. And then just got another lead for a potential new client. So I'm going to set up that call with him for next week. But this afternoon, it's Thursday now, already did breakfast, gym, emails, all of that sort, recorded that. But I need to send some other emails for a client. Something that happens a lot with clients is like you can become like a bit of a liaison with their other vendors, which I'm pretty good at because I can talk to the data people and the creative people and anything like that. So I don't mind to do that, but I need to send that. I need to work on some benchmarking and prep for 28 because we have our marketing call next week to talk about plans for the coming month. And then I need to sort out some kickoff documents for a client that's starting next week. So busy afternoon. It's just about 1 right now, so I have plenty of time to get everything done. But yeah, things are going well for Lowtide. If you haven't checked it out, you can look at our website that I've linked in the description. But Lowtide is, I don't like to call it an agency, but that's kind of what it is. But it is a business that my partner and I run. We do paid media reporting, app store optimization, app reporting, and honestly, a lot of other digital stuff. We have a good network of people that we pull in for design, video, really anything. We have a very good network for that. So it's a way for us to be people's digital partners. And I really enjoy it because it opens up a world of opportunity. And I don't like to kind of box it in and say it's an agency because really it's like I can do a lot. So it's what people need from me and how I can help. Right now, I'm about to kick off with a client who wants me to audit and report on all of his organic social metrics, which isn't necessarily, listed on our website, but it's something that I can do and provide. So it's a fun time. It's going very well, and it's growing a lot. It's had an incredible amount of growth already in 2025. So that's the primary bit of work that I have today, and then we'll see what the evening brings. Happy Friday. So it is almost 1:30 right now. Same routine as always this morning. Got up, had breakfast, hit the gym. We had to do a spin day, which is always a little bit brutal, but very worth it. So mentally feeling really good and clear. Got a lot of emails knocked out this morning. I feel like my week has just been a lot of communicating, but there are just a lot of new potential clients happening and information that needs to be sent. A lot of movement for, production and things for our ecom businesses. So it's just been communicating and making sure that no one's waiting on me for anything, but that's always good. I don't mind to sit down and take care of emails. I like to keep things moving pretty efficiently. But now we have just over an hour until we're gonna head out. we're spending a bit of the weekend with family, so I'm gonna leave soon. So I'm trying to sort out anything that I need to take care of before I leave. I will probably have to work while I'm there, just because we have so much kind of moving at this time, but I don't mind that. One thing that I've dealt with a lot in the past is whenever I travel or go to spend time with family or do anything that's outside of my normal routine, I feel like it takes me out of my life a little bit. Even though it is my life, it's a very important part of my life. It just pulls me out of like the business and like the goals and the things that I'm focused on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes it takes me a moment to like get back and embedded into it. I don't know if anyone else can relate to that or has dealt with it. It's something that has been very frustrating in the past because I'd go on a trip for a week and then I'd come back and it would take me like multiple days to feel like I was really back in it mentally and energetically. So I'm gonna try to avoid that. I am really in a good groove right now. I've like found flow with the work and what I'm doing. So I don't want to lose that momentum just because I'm going to be out of routine for, a couple of days. So one way I'm going to do that is by taking the time this evening to sit down and like make sure all my to-dos are done, set some to-dos for tomorrow, a short list, but just some things that will help me feel very, still in it throughout the weekend. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll do the same thing Saturday. I'll sit down, make sure I've got that work done, set to dos for Sunday, and then whenever I'm back home on Sunday, hit the ground running. So that's my thought right now. I'll update on how that goes, but excited to get out of town for a little bit and see my family. But next week is looking very busy. I feel like I just keep saying that, but really, truly, like this is the time that we are just at home, locked in, heads down, and it's paying off in massive ways, which is great to see. But that just means that every week things get incrementally busier and more challenging to manage. So as part of that, I am going to work this weekend a bit on our Notion and setting up like a client dashboard. I feel like I have so much of my mental capacity right now that's being taken by just having to kind of remember the status of different clients and potential clients and where things are at. I use Notion and I have notes in there and, things like that. Like I keep track of things. I have my notebook that I want all of my to-dos in, but I really want to be able to just like look at one dashboard and update it as things are moving and have like simple statuses so that I know what's up and I don't have to like go back and try to remember what's going on. So that's something I'm going to work on. I know I've mentioned Notion and how we use that. I think it's definitely something that you have to put some work into to make it useful because it's so customizable, which is great, but it also means that you have to set things up before you can really start using it in efficient ways. So that's another thing on my plate for this weekend. But I hope that you have enjoyed this video so far. I'll probably have a couple more clips I throw in at the end of this, but if you're still watching, I appreciate it. Let's get into the weekend. All right, so before I head out for the weekend, I wanted to give an office update because as I mentioned earlier in the video, we have been working to upgrade our office space to make it more collaborative, and our new table came in this week. So it's definitely a work in progress. It's definitely so cluttered and we have ways to go, but it is looking a lot better already. So to start, we did get our new table. So it is a bit shorter than like what our two desks were together, but there's like plenty of space. I actually have been working here without my second screen. I feel like it's helped me stay a little bit more focused with the work that I'm doing. But then my partner Taya has been working over here, and it's just made it a lot more sleek. And then it allows someone to be able to sit like right here. Sometimes she slides over and sits right here so we can work on stuff together. So I love it so far. Pretty good like material. It's nothing super fancy. We didn't want to spend a whole lot on it and then hate it. So that's what we're looking at now. Over here, we put my desk as a place to hold the printer. And like I mentioned, I wanted to have a spot to pack boxes. I don't know that we'll keep this table here. I don't know if you can tell, but like it really comes out pretty far. And so that, which is nice for like packing orders, but I don't know, we might end up changing it. We also are probably going to raise it up because it's like pretty short. What we need to do next is storage. So I have like a mess of things behind where I'm sitting. So we want to put storage over here just for like all of this stuff that's on the floor. And we have a pretty good amount of space to be able to like put something that comes out a little bit. And then we need to sort out what we're going to do with this side of the room. It's more open now than it was. But again, we just have like boxes and random stuff. None of that really needs to be in here. So really trying to optimize it. The last thing that I'm not even going to show is the closet, because we need this space to work for like organizing product and packing materials and stuff like that too. So we need to move some of that into storage and then make it work for what we need. So it's a work in progress, but it's looking a lot better. It's definitely changed like how I'm able to record different angles in here on video, but I'll sort that out and make it look aesthetic or whatever. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'll probably update you as we build it out, because I think having like a really nice office space is something that I've wanted for a while. Not that ours has been like bad by any means, but I definitely need it to be upgraded to suit the way that we're working now and our like storage needs and stuff.